Okay, so this is NeworkSteelo once again with a quick two-part video on this piece of equipment here. This is the CPR AquaFuge 2 hang on the back Refugium. Now I'm gonna make this a two-part video because I just got it in. I unboxed the system, which came in here in this white box, and it's a little dusty, you know, and that's okay because I just unboxed it, so I have to rinse it out and whatnot. So this is going to be a quick two-part video. In this video I'm going to show you guys basically just what the system looks like and talk a little bit about it, and in part two I'm going to have the system hooked up in the back of the tank and ready to go. So, you know, first impressions, I've owned this system before. I had the smaller one, the 12-inch or the 13-inch one, I believe it is, and I had it on my old system for a few months. It worked well, and then, you know, I stopped using it because I incorporated a Refugium underneath the system. But with this 30-gallon system, this is actually the route that I'm gonna go for the time being, and this is the largest one that you can get from CPR. I believe it's 25.5 inches long by 4.5 inches wide, I believe, by I believe it's 12 inches tall, and it's pretty big considering that it's going on a 30-gallon system. And I actually had a concern with that. I contacted CPR and I asked them before I purchased the unit if it was safe for me to install this on a 36-inch 30-gallon long tank that does not have a center brace, you know. And I was a little concerned whether it was going to add too much stress to the back of the tank, and they reassured me that that is not the case. They stated that because this system has some screws on the bottom to level it out, and I'm going to show you that in a minute, if you level it out properly, you should not have a problem with adding stress to the back of the tank. And I was really concerned considering that this unit holds 5 gallons of water. So it's an extra 5 gallons that I'm adding to the 30. More water is more beneficial, means your environment can be more stable, and on top of that I can have a deep sand bed and macroalgae to use this as a nutrient export. So the screws are down here for you to, I don't know if you can see them there, for you to go ahead and level it properly so that it does not add stress to the back of the aquarium. Now, the inlet and outlet of the entire unit, I'm going to show you that more in detail in part 2 of the video when I have it set up. For the time being, it's hanging in the front of the tank just for the purpose of this video. And here is the inside of the Refugium's inlet, which comes down, and eventually the water spills over this first piece of acrylic that you see here. This first piece of acrylic that you see here is going to divide the sand bed from the first stage, which is the inlet, and it's tall enough for you to add a 4-inch deep sand bed if you really want to, and that's really a great feature. However, I may actually not go with a deep sand bed at all, considering the fact that I have a deep sand bed in the main display. On the other hand, I will possibly be, if I don't go with a live sand, which I'm not 100% sure, I may actually add some sort of a mud filter, miracle mud. Let's see what I decide to do, and in part 2 you will get a better idea of what sand, if it's going to be either sand or mud that I'm going to be using. Now, first impressions, it's very structurally solid. It's actually very sturdy built. It's well built. It has this little boxed in area where the water overflows and then just goes back into the return via the inlet pipe here, the outlet pipe. And it has these two center braces here. I'm not sure if that's either to add support to the Refugium or if it works for that purpose and also to prevent the light from falling down into the Refugium. And I think that that's a very good, that's actually a good feature. Now the lighting, you can go ahead and purchase, if you're gonna get this system, you can go ahead and purchase the CPR light. On the other hand, I'm trying to save some money, so I'm gonna be using this 65 watt power compact fluorescent light fixture that I used on my other Refugium in the 90-gallon system. And if I set it up in this manner, it's gonna be perfect. I mean, it's gonna be giving me 65 watts over a 5-gallon Refugium. Now that's ridiculous, but it's gonna be great for algae growth and for preventing algae to form mostly on the main tank and for it to mostly form on the system itself. So I'm very happy with it. I'm gonna leak test it before I install it. I'm gonna be adding some fresh water and checking out to see if it's got any leaks. And once I figure that out, then I'm gonna be installing it, and then we're gonna move on to part 2 of the video. Of course, the system is gonna be installed in the back of the tank, and I'm also considering going back here and possibly installing some sort of a mirror in front of the Refugium in the back here, and that is so I can actually see what's going on in the Refugium. So I'm going to be doing that, and that's going to be in part 2 of the video. The great thing about this overall unit is that because it's 25.5 inches long and my tank is 36 inches, it will fit perfectly side by side with the new AquaFuge Remora skimmer that I have. It's doing a great job, guys. And I'm also gonna do that video where I'm gonna compare it to the CPR backpack, side by side comparison. I can tell you right now it's doing a lot better, but I'm gonna do that in the video. But it's only been running for a couple of days, and just quickly, let me just remove the collection cup to show you guys that it's doing a nice job. But that's for another video. So stay tuned for part 2 of this AquaFuge video. Let me go ahead and set it up, and stay tuned for part 2. This is NeworkSteelo signing out. Peace.